The following segments are pre-recorded and sponsored by Longworth Productions.
Helping veterans on Triad Today. Hello everyone, I'm Jim Longworth and welcome to another edition of Triad Today, coming to you from the beautiful Senior Botanical Garden in Kernersville. So I'll tell you more about the garden later on. And later on is when the roundtable shows up and we'll get into all sorts of controversial topics to stay tuned for that. Between now and then, some great topics and great guests coming your way. We have some important things to talk about, including helping veterans and other things. But where we want to start is talking about the arts and a big arts event coming up with two friends of the show. On my immediate right, Ashton Fowler, Marketing Manager for Modern Auto, and Katie Hall-Nicholas rejoins us. She's Chief Marketing Officer and VP of Development for Arts Council of Winston-Salem, South County. Good to see you, ladies.
Great to see you.
Glad to be here.
Ashton, let me start with you to sort of set things up, because people were wondering, okay, here's a lady that's in charge of all this stuff for Modern Auto. What is it that Modern Auto and the Fowler family has done over the years and still doing that supports the Arts Council?
Yeah, the Arts Council is a really special partner for us. We have worked together for 12 years now on the Spring Arts Extravaganza, which is a really exciting event that we do each year, and we get to showcase artwork from all across the district. The art teachers really look forward to this opportunity to showcase their children's art from elementary to high school.
Wow.
And the kids' faces just light up when they get to show off their artwork to their parents and friends and family. It's really a great event.
We'll get into the extravaganza in just a second, but what's the mission of the Arts Council? Remind everybody.
Sure. Arts Council is the chief advocate of arts and culture for Winston-Salem and Forsyth County, and we have been doing this work for more than 75 years on behalf of the community. One thing that's very special to us is ensuring that all of our school children from K-12 have access to high quality arts education. And so through a partnership which has existed since our very beginning with Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools, we're able to pour into programs such as the Modern Automotive Spring Arts Extravaganza, grant programs, and other things.
Yeah, now when is that extravaganza? What's the date and where is it supposed to be held?
It's coming up the last week in March, and we will culminate the event with a big community reception on Friday, March 28th from 4 to 6. And this will take place at Milton Road Center for the Arts in downtown Winston-Salem. Now,
we were talking about a minute ago, and Ashton was mentioning how kids are very proud to show off their art and that kind of thing. How does this whole thing happen? Are kids of all ages going to be able to submit it, or just is there an age breakdown, or what?
So we work with the school system, and this year we're working with Sarah, who's leading the visual arts program, and she works with all of her visual arts teachers across the district, K through 12, to select works of arts representing each school.
From all the schools. I think that's cool.
It is.
Before I forget, I always like to mention that the Arts Council does give out grants to folks. What kind of grants and how does that work?
Sure. So this year is one of our largest investments in arts and education ever, totaling $256,000. And so typically this grants program is about $120,000, which in the past has been fully funded by Wells Fargo.
Wow.
But in recent years has been joined by other partners, Reynolds American, as well as Flow Automotive companies and individual donors.
Yeah, well, now, when we were talking to Ashton a minute ago about the role that Modern plays in this with the extravaganza, it's pretty important to have a business partner when you try to do something like that, right?
It absolutely is. Modern Automotive underwrites this entire event that's made available for the school system. And so it's an 8-day takeover of our campus. Reynolds Place Theater occupies our elementary school students, Mountcastle Forum, our high school, and then Sawtooth's Davis Gallery has our middle school students. So to shut down the campus for such a long period of time really requires partnerships, and Modern has certainly been a wonderful one for these last 12 years.
Absolutely. Up on screen, I'm going to remind everybody, Modern Auto Spring Arts Extravaganza, that's March 25th through the 29th, all sorts of things going on. And you can go to intothearts.org to learn more information, intothearts.org, and please visit modernauto.com as well. Check out what's going on with the Fowler family. We should have a reality show that Meet the Fowler family. What do you think?
That would be pretty interesting.
Get your dad involved.
I don't know if people are ready for that.
No, that's right. All right, thanks for doing this. Looking forward to the extravaganza.
Yeah, we'll see you there.
We'll be right back after this.
You know, it's hard to believe the Safe Sober program has been going strong for over 30 years.
And over 600,000 students have made the pledge to stay safe and sober on prom night. You know, Griff, it's had a huge impact on our community.
Yeah, you're right, David. And now we're making sure the message continues year-round.
So everyone can join us in supporting our students.
Learn more and take the pledge at safesober.com, sponsored by Daggett Schuler.
Back now on Triad Today, I'm so pleased to have this first-time visitor to the show for many reasons. One, because I'm just glad he's here, but also because of the service he's given to all of us. I'm talking about Brian Barringer, Coordinator of Veteran Services at Alamance Community College. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
I've alluded to the fact that you're a veteran. Tell me briefly what part of the service you were in, where you were, that kind of thing.
I was in the Army for 3 years, so it was a short time, but a 3-year tour, and spent the majority at the time at Fort Campbell, Kentucky.
Okay, and what years was that?
1992 to 1995.
Okay. Now, what exactly? Let's go back to the college for a second. What exactly does the Veteran Services Office at Alamance Community College provide? What do you all provide?
We aim to provide excellent customer service to our veteran students. They have different benefits that they've earned, that they work for, and a lot of times navigating those benefits can be challenging. And we try to answer their questions. They sometimes want to know what benefits to apply for, how to apply, and we help them through that process.
Yeah. What are some other common questions and concerns they might have when they come in at first?
Some of them, they've been out of school for a while and they want to know, what do I do next? What are my next steps? We help them navigate the next steps. They may wonder, am I going to be able to pass math class? Because they haven't had calculus, trigonometry, or things of that nature in a while. And we have a lot of supplemental classes, most schools do, and that helps to refresh their memory on some of the math that they haven't used in a while. And for someone who was spent a career in the military, they may feel a little uncomfortable because they've been out of school for 20 years and now they're sitting in class next to someone who's much younger than them. And we kind of reassure them that, especially at the community college, we have a lot of people from different age groups, and that it's okay and you're not going to be alone. And
technology and everything's changed a lot over the years, but yet you guys are going to work, help them through that. And speaking of helping, though, I'm thinking back to you again. We mentioned a few minutes ago you being a veteran. Does that sort of, I guess it's a stupid question, but doesn't that sort of help you, give you an edge in trying to help other veterans because you've been there?
I think so. Being able to have seen it from both sides of the equation, I understand the feeling of just getting out of the service and wondering, okay, what do I do next? What are the processes for school? How do I apply? Do I need to take a placement test? That type of stuff.
Right.
And I can help navigate them and remember where I was when I was in their position. And we've made checklists, that way it's easier. So if they forget, because there's a lot of steps, and that way if they forget, they can just kind of check them off the list.
Let me just give we didn't rehearse this, but let me just give a plug for us old people. I think we make pretty good students, don't we?
You do. Typically people who are over 30, they're there for a different reason, and they put a lot of effort into it, and they typically tend to have really good grades and do very well in the programs.
Real focused.
Yes.
All right, before time runs out, you emailed me something about a mobile vet center, and I think you said that comes to campus pretty regularly. Now, when does it come? How regular is that when it shows up, and what does it provide?
Yes, the Mobile Vet Center typically comes the first or second Tuesday of each month, depending on their availability. And they offer different services, like if somebody wants to know, how can I go to the VA Medical Center to receive medical services, they can talk to them about that. They can talk to them if they're interested in filing like a disability claim, provide information on that. Sometimes dependents will have questions about dependent benefits, and they can coach them through that process. It's almost like the call center for VA services, just a real person that you get to talk to.
Right. That's good. It's that extra personal service that makes a difference. Going back to your first response, we were talking a minute ago about, really personalizing this and giving good service. Up on screen, alamancc.edu. And is there a particular thing folks should click on when they go to the website?
There should be a tab that says Veteran Services, but if they don't find it, they can easily just type it in the search bar and it'll take them straight to the information, and my contact information is under Veteran Services as well.
Brian, thanks for everything you're doing.
Well, thanks a lot. I enjoyed being here.
All right. We'll be right back after this. Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you that Triad Today also airs on GTN Spectrum Channel 13 and streams on WFMY Plus, free on Roku and Amazon Fire. Back now on Triad Today, and I'm always glad we can spend a few minutes with some of the good folks from the city of Winston-Salem that keep things going on our behalf, behind the scenes usually, and we are appreciative of that. One of those great folks is the city manager, and he's with us for a return visit. Patrick Pate, he's city manager of Winston-Salem, and he brought along a very special guest, Shailene Miller, Director of Office of Sustainability. Dr. Miller, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Pat, let me ignore you for 1 second. And then you said that happens to you.
It does happen a lot.
All right. Dr. Miller, how would you define sustainability? Because that's sort of the theme of what we want to talk about over the next few minutes. How would you define it quickly?
Sustainability in Winston-Salem is building a healthy environment with a good quality of life for the long term.
Well, how do you bring that to life with your team? I mean, how does that happen?
So my team focuses on a variety of environmental issues, from energy efficiency to waste reduction to habitat quality.
Now, Pat, why is sustainability so important for Winston-Salem particularly?
Sustainability is absolutely important because we've got to look at the long term. How are we going to make sure that our community is doing the things that we need to do to sustain ourselves for our future generations?
Right. And that really means, it means a lot to different people, but it can mean having the right infrastructure we need, having the right, environmental protections that we need.
We were talking to folks this morning just about making sure that we had the right kind of pesticides that we're using and using things that are sustainable for the environment.
Right. Dr. Millman, let me come back to you because you mentioned a few pillars that your folks work on. So I want to take them sort of individually. Environmental, social, and economic conditions that figure into your planning. Can you give me a quick sentence on each of those and why they're factored in?
Yeah, so when we look at a project, we want to look at environment, but we also want to think about how it's going to impact our community and the economics. So for example, we're working on LED light upgrades for street lights. That's going to save electricity, which means lower costs for the city.
Right.
It also means lower greenhouse gas emissions, but they're also dark sky compliant, which means that is better for our bird migration as well.
Okay. Now, you have an example you can give? I don't want to put you on the spot. An example of a successful initiative you've had already?
Well, we're really proud this year of the steps we made to our clean and renewable energy goal. We put on our first rooftop solar in the past year and started that, bought several electric vehicles, and we've been on the steering committee for the Solarize the Triad, which is getting residential solar going and working on our green workforce.
Well, all that sounds really great, and of course it sounds technical to me because I don't understand these things. So, the viewers are sitting there saying, wait a minute, Dr. Miller, let's figure this a different way. With all these successes and things, what can each person do? How can you get the public engaged?
Actually, absolutely. Sustainability is a shared responsibility, and we want to make sure that residents and our community partners are involved. So right now, for example, we're doing No Mow March. You take a simple pledge and to extend your growing period of your grass just to let the early pollinators find something, even if that's the weeds in your yard.
Right. Well, I've let my weeds go unattended for years. I didn't know I was doing good for the environment. Hey, Pat, before we lose time, are you pleased with, and I think I know what you're going to say, but are you pleased with how the sustainability initiative is going so far?
Absolutely. Dr. Miller has been just a blessing to our organization to bring a lot of initiatives, working with various departments. Just as you said, there's lots of ways that people don't really think about how they can help be sustainable. Recycling is a big part of that. And everybody's throwing away things. If you're buying products that can be reused or recycled, then that helps with the sustainability model list too.
Absolutely. We just have a few seconds left, Dr. Miller. What's gratifying to you about the work you're doing?
I think being a part of the community and seeing change happen. we can see the pollination, we can see energy being saved, and it's great to be moving forward to a more resilient Winston-Salem.
All right, up on the screen, you can go to cityofws.org for more information, cityofws.org. I want to thank both of you for being here today, but mainly thank you for what you're doing to help the community. Pat, Dr. Miller, thanks for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back after this.
Spartans are the teachers, artists, nurses, scientists, and leaders who build our communities.
Back now on Triad Today, and we haven't had this young lady with us for a long time, and we're lucky to get her back. She's always very busy, so we're talking about Stephanie Pace Brown, president of Visit Winston-Salem. Good to see you again.
Yeah, great to be here, Jim.
Let's remind folks of what the mission of Visit Winston-Salem is.
Visit Winston-Salem exists to attract overnight visitors to Forsyth County, and so they spend money at our local businesses and generate tax revenue and enhance the economic vitality of our community.
I think I read an email from you one day, and it said, make sure I got this right. You said the visitors spend more than $1 billion, that's with a B, $1 billion per year in Forsyth County. That's right?
Yeah, I think people are often pretty surprised to learn that we host about 7 million visitors a year, and they spend $1 billion with our local businesses. And that's a lot of economic vitality. And, the great thing is that it continues to grow. We ranked 9th in the state last year for visitor spending out of 100 North Carolina counties.
Wow.
And since July of last year, which is the beginning of our fiscal year, hotel revenue's been up 18%.
Man.
So it's really it's a testament to the vitality of our community and the experience that our local partners are offering to the people who visit.
What are some of the things that attract people to visit our area, other than Triad Today, of course?
Yeah.
Now, what are some things that bring people into the Forsyth County, Winston-Salem area?
I think people are generally aware of, our major attractions like Old Salem and Renolda, but it's really the combination of such a wide variety of things. It's the welcoming spirit of the people who live here. It's meetings and conventions and sports. But it's, Visit Winston-Salem's advertising that builds awareness and gets the word out about all of these things.
Yeah.
So we're advertising from Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but you had something about a new branding campaign. What was that?
Yes. So we had been using since 2019, our tagline was Look Forward, Travel Back. And last fall, we introduced Winston plus Salem, 2 hyphens turn into a plus sign.
Okay.
It's twice as nice, come on in.
That's
and,
cool.
We repositioned our advertising to be more inclusive, represent, a wider scope of the things that visitors experience here and that locals are offering to these visitors.
You mentioned a moment ago about the major attractions like Old Salem and Renolda Gardens, that kind of thing. Let's double back to that for just a second. Give me an example of a hidden gem that GEM that people may not know about.
I'm always so surprised when I recommend Kerner's Folly to people and they haven't been there yet.
Right.
So I feel like it's, right under our noses, but still something people haven't experienced. And the one that, a lot of people don't know about that I think is such a treasure is the Kernersville Auto Museum. Also happening right now is Andrew Wyeth at Renolda. Dave LaChapelle is exhibiting at NCMA. But there's so many hundreds of things that, are available to discover, any weekend. Go to visitwinstonsalem.com and check out the calendar of events, and you'll see, many dozens of things that you didn't know about.
Right, and of course Stephanie mentioned the Kerner's Folly, and that's just 2 doors down, basically from where we are at the Senior Botanical Gardens, and the gardens here are beautiful. The spring and summer. That's kind of an attraction in and unto itself. Before time gets away from us, since I mentioned about spring and warmer weather and whatever, what are some things that people might do that are outdoorsy type stuff? Maybe we've got museums, but we've got like the garden here and that kind of thing.
Oh gosh, there's so many. One of my favorite things to do is to rent an electric bike from Triad Eco Adventure Tours,
Cool.
or a Segway, but you can rent a bike and take the Greenway and ride it around Salem Lake.
That's great.
That's such a wonderful thing. And I think the waterfall at Hanging Rock is something that a lot of people haven't discovered yet. That's such a beautiful little gem.
And you once told me that everyone, even if you live right here, should be their own tourist. What does that mean?
I think we should be tourists in our hometown. I think a lot of people kind of, think about what they want to do on vacation, and there's so many leisure activities that we can enjoy here that help connect us to our community and take advantage of everything that's offered here. I encourage people, stop by the visitor center. We're in the Brookstown Inn. Ask our experts to help you find something you didn't know about, or go to the website and discover something that maybe you haven't been to in a long time and you'd like to go back.
You mentioned that, so we'll up on screen, visit winstonsalem.com. Visit winstonsalem.com. Stephanie, thanks so much for everything you're doing for the community.
Oh, it's really my pleasure.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having me here, Jim.
We'll be right back after this. Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you to catch my column Longworth at Large and Yes Weekly every week. It's available throughout the Triad, or you can go online, yesweekly.com. Back now on Triad Today, just about time for the roundtable, but a quick shout out to the good folks here at Senior Botanical Garden. Check out the garden, go to the website. It's a beautiful place all year round, always something to do. And what we're doing right here at the garden is the roundtable on my right, but always political left, Ogie Overman. Dave Briggs sitting in with us today, who has his own business, of course, former director of the High Point Theater, and Keith Granberry, founder of Helping Hands Consultants. Okay, guys, last Friday, in order to promote buying local, a consumer group staged an all-day nationwide boycott of online purchases, which also includes trying to get people not to shop at big box stores. You okay with this kind of campaign, and do you think it will have a lasting impact? Ogie.
Yeah, I am, but a one-shot deal won't do anything. You got to keep going and going and going for it to have any kind of impact at all.
Mr. Briggs.
I'd love to see these people who are shopping in the big box stores actually put their money where their mouth is and shop locally all the time.
Right.
And buy American.
Yeah, Keith.
I like to see the people who are doing away with the DEI programs not shop there, to see how much bigger impact that black people have on buying $4 trillion, and now they're doing away with programs that help equality. I just like to see that happen.
Well, that goes back to the old bus boycott days of Martin Luther King, where they had to do that to make a change.
$4 trillion.
Yeah. All right. Last week, Donald Trump suspended a $4.7 million grant administered by Winston-Salem State University, which is being used to train teachers for working in Forsyth County schools that have high rates of child poverty and teacher turnover. Guys, is this cutback in funding economically motivated or racially motivated or what? Ogie?
Well, it is racially motivated, but it's not only racially. I mean, he cut out some grad students at High Point University as well, and NITO's a big troglodyte, so it's hitting everybody.
Everybody. Dave?
Well, I do think it's mostly economic. Unfortunately, it hit the folks at Winston-Salem State as well. Remember, there was one that was banned, that was an agricultural one that came back a few days later. I would imagine that this will happen to that as well.
Okay.
I think that if you look at what's going on across the board, you have to say that everybody's impacted, but I think more poor people are being impacted than anything, and I think that we're going to have to see where that goes.
All right, last week, Republican lawmakers in Raleigh proposed a bill that would raise starting pay for teachers from $41,000 to $50,000 per year, and teachers with over 25 years of experience go from making $55,000, they could make up to $68,000. Are the proposed salary increases too high, not enough, or just right? Ogie.
Well, I'm glad they're doing something. I think they're a little low. I mean, it's a step in the right direction for sure. I like it.
Dave.
It is a step in the right direction. I'd like to see them have a scale that you could actually look at, because it looks to me like if you're a new teacher, you're going to get X number of dollars, but until you're 25 years in, you're not going to get a better chunk of the pie. I'd like to see that scaled better.
Mr. Granberry.
I think it's ridiculous. You should start off at $68,000. That should be the starting pay for teachers. The most important people in our country are being paid the least, and that's crazy. We're teaching our leaders, and now we're only paying them a small amount. And you have to wait 25 years to get $68,000?
Maybe. You might not get 60. Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
All right. Meanwhile, Republicans in Congress are considering a bill that would require Medicaid recipients, not Medicare, Medicaid recipients, to get a job or else lose their benefits. Good idea or a bad idea? Ogie.
Horrible idea yet again. Kick them when they're down. My brother's on Medicaid from disability from his time in the Army. And so he's got to go out and get a job
or he loses
to keep his Medicaid, please.
Right. Dave.
Yeah, this one really bothers me. There's I know that Bill Clinton had a work correspondent with welfare, and I'm not sure. I don't think they can do this. I think they need to pay these folks.
I think it'll be challenged eventually. Yeah. Keith.
I keep going back to people who don't have a lot being directly affected by some of these rulings, and it pains me because if you're on Medicaid, many of you are disabled, and you can't get a job when you're disabled.
Right.
And the economy the way it is right now, the idea needs to be rethought.
President Trump also just signed an executive order making English the official language of the United States. Now, guys, I'm no fan of Trump, but I was thinking about this, and I wanted to ask you guys, what's wrong with that executive order?
Well, what's wrong with it is just another xenophobic, jingoistic vision of Trump to make others less than, especially Hispanics. If you don't speak English, you're less than.
Dave.
Canada has French and English. Mexico has Spanish. Japan has Japanese. English is the predominant language here in the United States. I have no problem with that.
I don't either, really. I mean, Keith.
I think it's ceremonial, but one of the things that I think is important to understand is that when we're talking about America, it's so diverse. America is the greatest nation in the country, so there are a lot of people, Hispanic people, 50% of Hispanic males voted for Trump.
All right, let's see what happens. All right, finally, there's now an app that you can download that will send vibrations to your cell phone to simulate a body massage. The virtual massage app costs $90. Guys, would you pay $90 for a vibration? Ogie.
Not from a machine. I like the hands. I like the tactiles. the
hands-on thing.
Yeah.
Dave?
I used to tell my audiences to put their phone on vibrate and put it somewhere where they wanted it, and then have all their friends call them.
Keith, would you pay $90 for a vibration?
I think people should pay me $90 for my vibration. It's so high. Man. My vibration is always high, so I should be paid for my vibration.
You can call it a Keith vibrator.
That's exactly.
All right, well, that's all the time we have. Oh, except for this. Scientists at the University of California, Davis, on the Davis campus of University of California, discovered just recently that certain types of walnut trees can produce both and either male or female nuts, and said. And this very confused dog said, I've been barking up the wrong tree all this time. Poor dog. I mean, he's just trying to lift the. All right, for all of us here on Triad Today, I'm Jim Longworth. We'll see you next week.